It's interesting to talk about it like that because it's things you, I guess, as a guitar player, it's stuff you pick up along the way.
Yeah.
And I think especially we talked about this in the tone print video. I find especially for the flanger, I sometimes find it hard to kind of tune in what does it do. And I think we have the delay time knob on this one. On certain pedals, that knob will be called manual.
Right. Yes.
And to me, I always had this thing where you kind of go like, okay, so I get you get a delay, and it's like delay time, repeats / feedback.
Everything sort of makes sense.
Yeah, I know I don't even have to, I don't have to turn the pedal on and try it. I'll know what it does right away. On a flanger, depth and speed, it sort of makes sense. Feedback, I don't know. Well, it's typically I'll just think of it as like more extreme kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I always found the manual
such
a weird thing.
Yes, weird way to name it.
And we actually tried that on in the tone print video. We can do it here as well. The interesting thing is if we turn this up and you don't even play anything, we just exaggerate stuff pretty. I don't know if it's picked up by the... I don't know if you guys can hear it, but you can hear this. You can hear the thing going in the background, right?
Yeah.
So the delay time is basically controlling. We talked about the 2 duplicate signals. So the delay time is controlling how far the duplicate signal is from the original one.
Yeah.
And as you turn the knob up, and again, this works for your MXR flanger as well, or any other flanger that has either a delay time knob or a manual knob. The more you crank it up, the further away from the original signal the copied signal will be. And as you do that, it won't rise as high. This kind of thing will go lower, and as you turn it down, so the 2 signals become closer together, it'll go up higher. I can hear it doing this kind of thing as I turn it down. If you had a distortion in front of it or an overdrive, it will be even more obvious. You can kind of just follow this thing. So that's that knob. Now that we're at it, here's a vibrato.
Yep.
So as we talked about before, these 3 pedals have a lot in common.
Yes.
And I think that there's also kind of like people go like, well, what's the difference between chorus, flanger, vibrato, and phaser? Tremolo is another one of those things, and I think it all started with Fender making a terrible mistake,
possibly the worst, the worst naming mistake in the history of the whole enterprise.
Because when you buy a Fender amp, a blackface style Fender amp, typically it has vibrato and reverb in it, and reverb we all know. But the weird thing is that the thing that Fender called vibrato is really tremolo anywhere else in the world. And I'd actually be interested to know if they actually at Fender also called tremolo pedals vibrato pedals. I don't know about that.
The whole thing with the tremolo arm as well, but it's not it's a vibrato arm, not a tremolo arm. The 2 words get very, very confused by sort of wrong naming.
So just to kind of set the record straight on that, and Fender can always come after us afterwards. So we already talked about vibrato and flanger and chorus, and all those 3 effects are time-based effects, but the way you modulate time basically means that you modulate the pitch.
Yeah.
So vibrato in essence is what you do with your finger when you do the wiggly thing. So it's the Albert King if you are tasty, and it's the Yngwie Malmsteen if you're like doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, opera singers do, or any kind of singer do when they, they hold a note and then they gently wiggle the pitch.
Yeah.
So it's basically what breathes kind of life and character into playing, right? Tremolo, on the other hand, is volume. So it's modulating volume in time, turning the volume up and down. So the best way to kind of say is, imagine there's a little guy inside the pedal, and he has a console with a bunch of faders, and one of them is the fader to your guitar sound, and he'll do this. And depending on how you set the knobs, he can go from like nothing all the way to full blast, or he can go just subtly up and down. He can do it fast, he can do it slow. and there, depending on how advanced your pedal is, he can do a number of different things. But at the essence, if you get like a Fender amp with a vibrato circuit, which again really is a tremolo circuit, those are the two options you have. How fast does it go, and how much does it turn the signal up and down? So that's the difference between those two guys.
I've always loved sort of tremolo effect.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool, because you can either do, as you say, the subtle thing just gives it that little flutter, little flutter in volume. Yeah. Or you can have it stuttering.
Yeah, you can do the crazy, the like the metal or Racing Against the Machine kind of kind of thing. But I also like it because it's a great effect in the sense that you can really hear something is going on. But it doesn't change the sound of your guitar, which is kind of like, if you turn on a flanger, or a phaser for that matter, you can totally hear things are like all over the place. Tremolo is more subtle, even though it can be quite drastic. It's a little bit more, the guitar still sounds the same, it just dropped a little bit in volume.
Yeah, it's a sweet effect. And a long time coming for you
guys. Yeah.
Was it not highly requested thing for years and years?
It's been highly requested for years and years, and to be honest, we kind of got some reports. I could see some reports that said that tremolo pedals is just not something that sell really well. So I was like, do we want to do a delay? Because the amount of pedals sold in the delay market is way more than the tremolo market. And I was like, no. But at the end, it's like, oh shit, I just really want to. I'd like to have a tremolo, and we spent quite a bit of time making one that we think is nice. And it just turns out that it's doing really well. So sometimes you get this thing where people go, oh, it would be so awesome if you made this. And what you find out is that the 3 guys who asked for it are the only 3 guys who bought it. But in this case, it's actually,
I think also the hype building up around it probably did a long way to help.
That might help a little bit. But it's definitely, if nothing else, then, from personal preference, it's, it's by far my favorite type of, like, modulation effect for lack of a better word, where you modulate something in time. I definitely like tremolo the best, so I'm happy to see it there as well.